Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you are doing well. And today we're going to be talking about another thing from Dork Side of the Force. This one from Susan Luxurage? I don't know how to pronounce your name, but this has more to do with her and her article than it has to do with Oscar Isaac comments, but I wanted to cover it nonetheless because I know that this was getting the rounds and the stories, and I felt like it was worth covering. So Oscar Isaac wants disappointed Star Wars fans to create the stories that they want to see. Well, we already see that that's kind of happening. We already see, for example, Ivan Ortega is recutting The Last Jedi into a story that people might actually want to see. There's been this movement to remake The Last Jedi, which people like her and people like everyone in Hollywood, it seems, have been pointing fun at and attacking. And yet, it's interesting how now you're saying, oh yeah, it's a good thing to create your own stories, but yeah, when it fits your narrative, you're very willing to attack them. But anyway, Oscar Isaac talks about fan backlash of Star Wars: The Last Jedi and asks fans to create their own inspiring work. Okay, well, we see it happening. We do see it happening, absolutely. And also, too, it doesn't stop the fact that we can still be critical of the work that you're being a part of and why it is very bad for the overall Star Wars IP. So again, we can have both. We can have people creating their own work, people creating their own Star Wars stories, but also at the same time pointing out that yes, we are angry. Yes, there is a backlash. You cannot deny that there's a backlash. Again, look to Solo's box office numbers. I say it all the time because it's true, and yet people still just want to ignore it and act like it's a small little group of hateful people. Well, in reality, that we're just a fun-loving community that just want to have really good Star Wars film. That's all that we really want. And so this is actually one of the more timid responses from Oscar Isaac, but once again, not from Dork Side of the Force. So anytime a Star Wars actor is interviewed, the inevitable question comes up about the negative reception The Last Jedi faced from a portion of the fan base. And again, this is what bothers me so much, is that they try to belittle the movement, they try to belittle the fandom menace, they try to belittle the backlash as much as they can, and sometimes they do it very subtly. A portion of the fan base. No, a large group of the fan base. You do not get to that 46% on Rotten Tomatoes without there being a lot of people pissed off. You do not get to the 48,000, however many thousand downvotes for Star Wars Resistance unless it's a large portion of the fan base. You can try and say, oh, it's a bunch of internet trolls and everything like that. It's like, no, look at the box office numbers for Solo. That's a real number. Also, looked at the $700 million less that The Last Jedi made compared to The Force Awakens. But those are just numbers and facts and figures. Why would we want to deal with those kind of things, right? So, some are disappointed. Some look to the future of the untitled Star Wars Episode 9 for a way to bring that part of the fan base back. I sure hope so. But it requires them to do a lot of work. They have a lot of heavy lifting to do. That's why I've said before that it makes sense for them to actually possibly split it into two films, because they have to spend an entire film, at least from my mind, they have to spend an entire film trying to dig the Star Wars story out of just the garbage and mud and muck that, that Rian Johnson covered it in. But who knows if that's actually what's going to end up happening in the long run. Others realize it may not change, but look at it more as an opportunity to take advantage, take something you love and create your own thing. Oscar Isaac falls into the last category. He portrays Poe Dameron in the sequel trilogy and has dealt with negative feedback surrounding the films, but not even close to what director Rian Johnson has faced from The Last Jedi. Well, here's the reason why. Poe Dameron is a cool character. We liked him after The Force Awakens. At least most people like Poe Dameron after The Force Awakens. I am still a Poe Dameron fan. I think that Poe could be a really good character. The problem is that The Last Jedi turned him into just this annoying, stupid character that just got demasculated by Admiral Holdo, and his character was essentially destroyed by that story arc and was stupid. It did not help his character or bring his character along a journey that was interesting. It was just like, why are you destroying one of the best new characters that you have developed? So I'm a huge Poe Dameron fan. So yeah, that's the reason why he has had backlash, less so because his character is actually kind of cool, except for what Rian Johnson did to his character, and not just his character, but also the Star Wars universe, which is why Rian Johnson is and will continue to, for probably the rest of his career, be criticized for the thing that he did with The Last Jedi, because it was awful. He has seen the fans have said and doesn't discount them, and that's a good thing. That already is like leaps and bounds better than what a lot of people have done associated with Lucasfilm. Don't discount them. Don't criticize them. Hear what they have to say, and say, hey, I hear what you have to say, and here's what I have to offer you, or here's what I have as of advice. And it looks like he's going to do that. Instead, he looks at their disappointment and sees a way for a community to grow. What I think is really special about the whole thing, particularly for people that really didn't agree with with where the story went is that it's often a great inspiration to do your own stuff. Obviously, making your own Star Wars movie is a bit of a tough challenge, but at least from a narrative standpoint, maybe you make your own thing and then show what you would want, make what you want to see. Well, here's the thing. We can do that, but then we can also say, here are the things that we want to see, Lucasfilm, make them a reality, because we can't make our own Star Wars movie. So you're hitting on two different things. One, yes, it's good for creative juices to flow, for people to create their own stories, fan fiction, whatever it is, but at the same time, also, it's up to a fan base of any franchise to say, hey, this is what we would like to see, give us something to that effect. Because if you have an IP like Star Wars, if you have any kind of an established storyline, or a group of characters, then the people making the film are going to want to at least listen to and know what the fans are going to want to see, because guess what? You got to sell the movie to the fans. So if you go in there with the attitude of I don't care what the fans think, or I'm just going to make a movie that's divisive, guess what's going to happen? It's going to get attacked, you're going to lose the fans, and also you're going to end up ruining that intellectual property on top of that. And that's what's been going on with Rian Johnson ever since The Last Jedi came out, is not only did the movie do those things, but also the backlash from the people representing Lucasfilm have done the same thing. So look, Oscar Isaac, man, again, I understand where you're coming from, and I agree. People should be more creative, but at the same time, you cannot deny that it's also up to Lucasfilm, and it's the job of Lucasfilm and the people representing them to hear the fans, to hear the voices, to hear what they want to see, because guess what? We don't want to see, the vast majority of us do not want to see what has been going on. We do not want to see another Last Jedi. In fact, if you put another Last Jedi out there, guarantee you, it's going to be a total bomb. It's going to be a total bust. So let's hope and pray that at least someone listens to what the Phantom Menace has been saying, because the ideas that we're putting out there aren't crazy. They're actually within the realm of what J.J. Abrams set up in The Force Awakens, and it would be really interesting and cool to see, whatever direction it goes in. Again, obviously, you don't have to follow every single thing that fans put out there, because obviously fans put out theories. You don't have to follow every single one, but to at least be able to address it, but also be able to give fans something that at least falls in line with expectations, is something that any franchise needs to do if it wants to stay afloat, if it wants to stay profitable at that point. All right, so while there may be and here's where, again, Oscar Isaac, no problems with him. Again, I like his character a lot, and that's actually a very good response. It's a very tempered response, and I feel like it's a very logical response to the negative feedback. Dork Side of the Force and other articles and other garbage tier sites like this, not so much. So it says, while there may be a toxic group of fans that would like to change The Last Jedi, no, just most people, most fans, especially most hardcore fans, want to see The Last Jedi either decanonized or remade in some way, because it does ruin Star Wars for so many different reasons. Check out my previous videos, especially the ones I talk about, articles by Matthew Kadish, who you've never checked out. Please go check out his stuff. He's awesome. Not just on Star Wars stuff, but also on just story craft in general. He did one on why all-female reboots are not working, and I plan on diving into that and trying to do a video on that as well, because he's just always spot on with his analysis. But Isaac does have a point. This person says, fanfic exists for a reason. It's a reimagining a story with your favorite characters. Perhaps you didn't like how a story played out, or you thought of a great story that would never get told. Okay, yeah, that's true, but at the same time, also, when crap is told to you, you want non-crap to be the next thing. So, again, you're kind of missing the point here. And also, I love how you had to throw in that jab at, the toxic fans. Oh, the toxicity, the white male toxicity. I'm surprised that you haven't mentioned that yet. There is room for creativity in exploring those avenues in a healthy way. That's the important part. Well, again, this is healthy. Us having this discussion, going back and forth, shooting ideas off each other. Talking about being creative. There are people at work trying now to get a documentary covering this entire movement, covering the entire Phantom Menace. Guess what? That is creative, and also guess what? That is a way to build, in a healthy way, to build a community where we can have conversations. In fact, that's one of the things that I love about this channel. As small as it is, what I have been able to do is, with a very small group of people, been able to build a small community where we all have fun. We are all able to talk to each other. We don't agree on every single thing, but guess what? We're able to communicate with each other in a very healthy way. We're able to get out our frustrations. The problem is that when you have the people running Lucasfilm, running the company like they're doing, and having representatives not like Oscar Isaac, but like Chuck Wendig and everyone else attacking fans and calling them man babies, like, for example, Rian Johnson calling people names and things like that, when legitimate criticisms are being brought forward about your film, that is where the unhealthy part lies. Not within the fan base, but within that aspect of it. Disagreeing with the storyline is perfectly fine and will happen. Even the most passionate fan will not like everything. Using that as a fuel to create your own story is even better because it gives you a chance to explore your own amazing ideas, or also making very clear that this story sucks, The Last Jedi sucks, and that if you continue in the storyline, it's not going to be good, we're not going to support it, we're not going to watch it because it's bad, it's just bad storytelling. You even have the guy that wrote the damn thing saying, I don't know how to write stories, I'm not a very good storyteller, I take material from other places. You have that on record of a guy saying that, and yet you expect people just to say, oh no, but even if you don't agree with it, even if it's just a small group that disagrees with it, there's other ways to get that out there. Yeah, one of those ways, guess what, is to refuse to watch a film, is to give up on a franchise. Again, I've said this before, and I see it constantly. There are so many people who were fans of Star Wars for a long time, who were there in the theaters in 1977, who have been Star Wars fans their entire lives, who are now either no longer fans or just don't even care, and that's bad. Apathy on behalf of Star Wars fans is bad for the Star Wars universe because guess what? That is your bread and butter. That is the majority of the people who are going out to support your films. You are not creating this new audience that you think you're creating. I'm sorry, but the numbers for Solo just back that up in a lot of different ways. So, I'm with Isaac on this one. Disliking something, even Last Jedi, doesn't have to be a bad thing. You can take something and flip it around into something that you love. And again, that's what we're doing by trying to make what we dislike in The Last Jedi into something that we love because we want Star Wars to be, and again, oh man, the trigger's about to happen. We want Star Wars to be great again. Star Wars right now is going through a slump. Just look at the box office numbers for the Star Wars universe, the last two films that have come out, looking at The Last Jedi and also at Solo. There's a downward trend. We see that happening a lot. Look at the fan base. The fan base has never been more divided, at least when it comes to, their thoughts on the current films coming out. Episode 9 is already setting itself up to kind of be a bad film as far as, to be the first Star Wars film to not make $1 billion under Disney, which is not a very good, well, again, episodic, not counting Solo. So you're already having all these things being thrown around. So these are the things that we need to focus on. And yes, I agree. Creative juices, let them flow into fan fiction, into independent stories, into your own cuts of The Last Jedi, into a new iteration of The Last Jedi. Those are all good, positive things. But guess what else is positive? Talking about what is wrong with The Last Jedi, talking about what is wrong with the current state of Star Wars, and also how to fix it. But guess what? You're never going to hear that from people like Dorkside. Anyway, guys, what are y'all's thoughts about this? Please let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. I greatly appreciate it. Also, guys, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Y'all are amazing. Have a great day. And as always, God bless.